Can you hear me? Okay. So, actually, sorry for not joining yesterday because I got some emergency. That's why I had to postpone this session by today. Okay. So, today what we will do, so the agenda is like we will discuss on so whenever you are trying to, practice the Databricks, so there will be kind of two kinds of approaches that we'll use that we can use. Okay, so we will discuss about both the approaches like using which we can practice our data bricks. Okay, so first approach is so first we will use Databricks Community Edition. Okay, so this is the simplest way. It is a kind of a browser based login is required. So there is no need of login into your Azure portal account and everything, because Azure portal account require the credit card and all to set up. So it is little lengthy process. The simplest way to kind of log in into the Databricks and practices. So we have to create the community edition account. So it is very simple. What you have to do? You have to just type, just search for this Databricks community edition, and then you have to go for sign up. Okay, so while you are signing up, it will just ask you the simple login with the Google or your, the if you are working for organization, it will ask you to use your Microsoft account or any valid email ID is also acceptable. So we generally prefer to use our Gmail, so we can try to use that Gmail and we will try to log in, and then we will try to authenticate and login, and we have to choose. So since I have already created my account, that is why it is letting me to log in and then try to access this Databricks environment. Okay, this is the kind of a simplest way of doing it. By using this approach, there are some limitations, like, you know the limitations are like mostly you are not able to use the features called as Unity Catalog and Databricks file system that we will discuss in detail when the the time comes. So step by step we will discuss about them. But there are some limitations like when you use this browser based authentication. But for our PySpark sessions, like when we are discussing the PySpark, so we will all practice this through this browser. Some of the database core features that are not supported in this. So at the time comes, then I will try to differentiate between them, the community edition as well as the Databricks workspace that we will create through Azure portal. Okay. So once we log into this Databricks environment, right? So you can see many sections that are available, right? So the first section is kind of a workspace. You can see this within this workspace. If you just expand this, you can see three sections. Those are there: repos, shared, and users. So this repos one we will discuss later. It is just more like a kind of a version controlling. Wherever you develop something, you will be connecting to your either GitHub or Azure DevApps to store our code, and then to maintain different versions of the code. So that is where this repos comes into the picture. So that is why we will discuss later. The thing is we should know to start with is this the shared folder as well as the users folder, right? So here you can see, if you go to the shared folder, you can see like the options like creating the folder, creating the notebook, or you can kind of dashboard you can create, or pipeline you can create the alerts. And if you are well versed with the machine learning, so you can try to create your machine learning flow and experiment that. So these are all the various options that are there. And also, if you go to this users also, more or less like we have the same options. There is no difference. The difference is why they are given two folders is like when you create any object like folder or notebook or anything, so it will be kind of accessible by every user in the project that you are working or every user you trying to access. But when you create something, any object like notebook or folder, anything, that will be accessible by you only by default. No other user cannot see and access this unless you go and give the access explicitly. So just if you give there are some share and permission section, you can search for the user and you can give the access to that particular user. Unless you give the access, this cannot be seen or accessed by any other user. So that is the difference between shared and the users. Okay. So mostly in real time, so we will be using the users folder to create something. And whenever you feel like you want to give the access to some other users, we'll go and give the access at the folder level so that they can also access and they can develop something on it. Okay. So now this is the introduction about this workspace. And if you go to the catalog section, as we discussed, so we can store the data in the Databricks environment, either in the form of file or table. Okay. So if you want to store the data in the form of tables, we can see here also within this workspace, we can create our own database. So this default is a one database. That is a default database that is created automatically by Databricks. That is you have not created it. If you want to create your own, you can create your own database and you can create the tables also like this. You can see these are all the tables, right? You can create it, right? Like this, we have some system databases. These are created automatically and we can try to use them if you want to, you know, practice or if you want to play with them, you can use it always. That is where they have given, right? So that is one thing. So this is basically this is a second demo kind of introduction session. So first demo is completed day before yesterday. That is just a kind of no need to worry. That is just a kind of a the features that we discussed of the Databricks. If you not attended the first class, that is no need to worry. That recording will be shared with you along with this. So just go through and that is was the kind of a quick session, half hour session. After this class, you can go through both the videos. You will be comfortable. Okay, no issues with that. No need to worry about that. It is just a kind of a second class only. Okay, it is a kind of demo only, but I'm just trying to show you practically like in the community edition how what all the key components are exist. Okay. So that is one thing. And within the Databricks environment, if you want to store the data in the form of tables, so we will be seeing and able to access and store the data here in this databases, right? And also we will be able to store the data in the form of files also. Okay, so we'll be able to store it. So that is where like one limitation that I found is like we are not able to see that there is one more section that should be present that is not supported in this community edition. That is one limitation. I will show you when we create the account through Azure portal. So there is there will be a section called as Databricks file system. So within that we will be able to store the data in the form of files. We can upload and store the files. Yeah, you can ask your question.
Hi, sir. Just
Yeah.
wanted to know if this is a demo class or the main class.
This is kind of second demo. This is part of
Okay,
the
so
second demo
once
only. Hmm.
once you'll start the actual class, you'll cover all these again, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely. This is just
Okay.
a kind
So
of overall on first class we discussed through slides. That's the theory. And this is
okay.
a kind of introduction to the actual Databricks environment.
Okay. So from when are you planning to start the actual class, sir?
So it will be from Monday. It will be
Okay.
from Monday.
Because I need to drop for like my work. So in case if you are starting the actual class on Monday, I'll be joining then.
Yeah, yeah. So if you are
Yeah.
comfortable, I suggest to uh, like attend this session or continue the session. If you are really want to leave, you are free to leave. So from Monday onwards, we'll be starting the actual class. No need to worry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So if you want to store the data in the form of files, so that is also possible, but we have to enable the Databricks file system. So that is one limitation that I found when you use the community edition. Very soon I will show you like where we will exactly store the files, but through the Azure portal, not here, because I'm unable to find that option. Okay. So how to enable that and all we'll discuss soon. And one more thing is you can see there is one jobs and pipeline section. Okay. So here what this section will do, you will kind of, okay, if you go to this workspace and if you go to your shared section, here you can see one option called as create notebook, right? So if you just try to use types, okay, rename something, the notebook one or something, we can just try to give any name, and then you can start writing your programs within this. You can type something, it is just like a editor. Okay, so you can type any command, whether it is Python. By default it is a kind of a Python notebook, but if you know the SQL and if you want to use it, you are free to use it. If you just select the SQL, that percentile SQL will come, and you can use it, and you can create multiple cells in the sense. So here you can use Python, and in the above cell you can use SQL. That is possible. So within single notebook, we will be able to use multiple languages as we discussed on the demo session, right? So here also along with Python and SQL, it supports Scala and R. Okay. So but in most of the 99% of the projects, we'll be using the combination of PySpark and the SQL. So that is why at the very beginning of our class, we will be covering PySpark classes, right? So that way you will be comfortable with the PySpark. Okay. Now, so here we can see some options are also available. Like when you create any cell, we can add any cell below or above, something like that, or we can add the comment if you want it, right? And, right. So you can just have some more options, like we can add the title if we want it. So it depends on our requirement. We will use these options, user friendly options, that nothing difficult. So it is just kind of depends on our requirement. We will try to use it, right? So this is one thing, and you can delete the delete symbol here also. And here also in the above also you can see some options. New notebook. If you want, if you have written something, somebody has written something and you downloaded something from the somewhere else, either from Google or GitHub. So you can just import that notebooks and you can start practicing that also. You just click on browse and you will be able to upload something, right? So that is about, I mean these are all user friendly options are also available. So if you just want to schedule it, schedule means what? Again, where it is coming? It is coming to this job section. So where this job section is useful, you when you write any program, any coding that you have done in the notebook, you want to execute that program on daily basis at specified time. So we have to use this jobs and the pipeline section. When you try to click on this job, click on create a new job. Okay, so it is not allowing me. Maybe it's a kind of limitation, I don't know. I will be able to show in the portal, no issues with that. But when I am trying to create a new job, see, it is not allowing for some reason. Okay, let's forget about it. So, but within this jobs and the pipeline section, we can call notebooks and we can schedule that notebooks to execute on a daily basis at specified time. And also, not only that, within this jobs and the pipeline section, we can create our own pipeline also. This is a new feature that has been added recently. It was not there before. They have added new features. When you click on ETL pipeline, right? When you click on that, so we can start with the sample code in the SQL or something. So there is some support, the pre-existing support that is there. Uh, and 20%. Yeah. So, and then we can, apply the different transformations here. Okay, this also we will discuss in detail, but on high level, we can just, try to add SQL or Python transformations and we can try to play with it. Okay, this is a new feature. Even me too, like it is a kind of a new because it has been recently added in the recent release. And ingestion pipeline. Ingestion pipeline means usually we will use the data factory to connect to different sources and get the data into our Databricks environment. Now, this is also like they have given the capability to connect to wide variety of sources. It might be a Salesforce or SAP, something like that, or any cloud sources, right? So we can also connect to, not only the sources that are mentioned above. You can see here directly we can connect to many sources. That is now it is supporting in the Databricks environment. Earlier it was not there. Most of the help that we used to take from data factory. We used to use the data factory to create the pipelines and extract the data and dump somewhere in the Azure environment. It might be Azure SQL or some storage like blob storage or data lake. Now, then we used to connect to the Databricks and extract the data and transform it. But now, most of the connectors are available in the Databricks environment. Directly, we can talk to different sources and we can extract the data. So that is a new capability that has been added by Databricks. Okay. So earlier only there was only job section, but now we have this ingestion pipeline and ETL pipeline section also available. And now you can go to this compute section. What is this compute section is all about? Okay. So we discussed about the cluster, right? Right. So here you can see this is a kind of a serverless cluster. So what exactly mean by serverless cluster is this cluster will not be created or maintained by you. You are not able to define how many worker nodes are required or how much of memory is required, how many cores are required, right? You are not able to configure anything. This is also one more limitation. Okay, so here you can use this cluster, serverless cluster, but you can start and terminate, right? But you are not able to configure this cluster. You are not able to configure this. So for suppose I will write something in the notebook. I will go here. I will go to this shared folder, and within this, I can write something, any command. So now if I just click on run, okay. If I just click on run, okay. So what will happen? Oh, okay. So my credits are exhausted. Okay, no issues. So when I click on this, immediately what it is doing, it is trying to use this serverless cluster. There is a serverless cluster that is available, right? So it will try to use that and try to execute this without attaching this to the cluster. This notebook will not able to execute any command. I will show you and run this command through portal when we create now. Okay, but it will try to attach to the cluster at runtime and it will give the output. Okay, notebook will, for suppose you are connecting to any storage, for suppose employee file is there. There are kind of 1 lakh records are there. Now, if I have to export this 1 lakh records into Databricks environment, where it will store the data in the Databricks environment in the memory. So the memory will be allocated by whom? The memory will be allocated in the cluster, right? So the memory will be allocated in the cluster. So within that cluster, we will be having the worker nodes and the memory allocated. So that is the use of this cluster. So whenever you extract 1 lakh records, it will try to store in the cluster memory only. So cluster is maintaining that memory and it will do the in-memory processing. So
Sorry, I
that is
have
the
a
use of
question here.
this cluster. Yeah.
I have a question here.
Yes.
So, suppose if you want to execute an SQL or something like different databases, they need some connections, right? Without
Right,
connection,
right. So for everything you have to make the connection first.
yeah, okay. From
For
here, you
SQL,
can do
you
that.
have to, yeah, sorry.
From here, in this environment itself, we can do it.
We can make the connection. So for
Oh,
that, you have to create the JDBC URL. Using the JDBC URL, you will be able to make the connection. In case like if you want to connect to your storages like file system, like
okay.
usually it supports the blob storage and a data lake that we'll
Okay.
discuss anyways, but we will have to create a kind of a mounting, kind of mount point, and then we'll be able to make the connection.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's compulsory. The first prerequisite is you have to make the connection before we extract anything from any source,
Okay. Oh,
right?
fine. That, yeah.
So that is where this ingestion pipeline comes into the picture. This ingestion pipeline, for suppose you want to extract the data from your Salesforce, just click on it. First, what do you do? First, what
Okay.
it is asking? It is asking you to create the connection in first place. Without that, you cannot access anything,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Ingestion setup. So the transformation that you want to perform and kind of that you can specify and which to which destination that you want to store.
Okay.
So this information we have to give. Okay,
Okay.
earlier this feature was not there inbuilt in the Databricks. We used to do this through Data Factory, but now it is available. So based on the available sources, mostly you have all the connectors as for my R&D. So we'll be able to kind of connect and extract the data.
I have one more question. Sorry. Uh,
Hmm.
this is this environment like if you go in real time like Azure Databricks in environment, the contents will be the same. All like toolbars, whatever you are showing the environment.
I will show you that also.
Fine, fine. Yeah.
After
Okay.
this, I will show you that environment also. Yeah,
Fine, fine. Yeah.
you will
Okay.
be
Right.
seen.
Yeah.
Only thing is the features, right? Some of the features that I am telling you, right? Some of them are not supported over here because it is a trial account. That is
Fine.
the problem.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes,
of
sir.
course the
I got a doubt. So can I ask?
yeah, yeah, sure.
In this edition, you said like there is a serverless cluster which is using this one. How about
Mm.
in Azure? Like we need to make a cluster. I mean, configure
Yes,
the
yes,
cluster.
yes, yes.
How many clusters? How many clusters can I configure? Like multiple?
Yeah, we can use multiple. It's not a single cluster.
And
We
we
can.
and for the notebook, like here you selected a drop down to select the cluster. So
Mm.
if I do in the Azure environment, if I have multiple clusters, then there will be multiple options there to select. I need to select which one I want.
Right, you are free to select any one of the cluster and attach to the notebook.
Okay, attach means like how do I attach?
I will show you.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Okay.
in my,
So like
in
if
5 minutes, I will show you.
yeah, so it's if I select that one and attach to that notebook, so that's it's a permanent. Always it will go for that cluster.
Right, unless you go and change manually.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Okay, that is one thing. And you can see some SQL. If you are very SQL, kind of expert, and client is also interested to use the SQL kind of programming. So you can, write your SQL coding here, right? You can see the queries and also so here you can see the SQL editor that is supported over here. Okay, and date. So here you can see the job runs which are kind of run, and you can see the data ingestion section here also it is there. From here also you can access anything is fine. And if you are a data scientist, after the data is transformed, then you want to do some experiment or you want to create some training and test models and you want to predict something. You want to build the predictive models. So you can use the A and ML is also available. Okay. So this is on high level. Okay. So now how it will look like through Azure portal. Okay. First thing is you should have the Azure portal account. That is the first place. Okay. After you have the Azure portal, so I am not going into the deep, but I will be more focusing on Databricks environment. Okay. So after you log in into your Azure portal, you can see the resource group. Within that resource group, we'll be able to create our Databricks environment. How do we create it? So just click on create and then just type in Databricks, right? So here, yes, so here you can see when you type a Databricks or Azure Databricks, you can see the second option, Azure Databricks. Just click on that and then click on create. So while creating, it will ask you to, give you the proper name. So it will ask you to give the proper workspace name and the pricing tier. Pricing tier means you want as a administrator a standard tier, a trial account that you can choose. For you, it will be only trial account will be available. You will not have much options to select. Okay, after that, you can just click on review plus create. Nothing much. So after you click on review plus create, so your Databricks environment will be ready. You can see like this already created. So your Databricks environment will be ready. you can just click on that resource, Databricks resource, and you can click on launch workspace. So once you click on launch workspace, you can see here same works UI is same like workspace, repos, shared, catalog, jobs, everything is same, right? There is nothing difference. The only where like I mentioned two things, right? If you go to the catalog, you don't see this option. Browse DBFS option is not there. If you just go and observe here, if you go to the catalog, browse DBFS option is not there. DBFS means Databricks file system. This is not there. So just click on your browse DBFS option. You will be able to upload some files like this. You can upload files into your Databricks environment. Correct? That is one thing. And as I told you, so if you go to this compute section, what I mentioned, we can create our own clusters. Unlike the community edition, they are not giving any option to create your own cluster and configure it. But here, if you go to this compute section, you can see this all purpose compute section. So here you can create your own cluster. I mean, create compute means create cluster, and here you will be able to select the runtime version, and the most important thing is here you are able to select the memory required, and you will be able to select the minimum and the max worker nodes that are that you required, that you are interested, so you can keep that. And also, as I mentioned in the past class, we can enable the auto scaling feature. That means like depends on the volume of data, it will try to use the worker nodes in between this minimum and the maximum. Nodes means what? Nodes means virtual machines, right? Anything you can refer, but cluster is having the group of virtual machines or nodes. It will be kind of splitting the data across these nodes and process it to increase the parallel processing, and it will improve the performance by reducing the time because we are splitting the distributing the data across different nodes. And terminate after, for suppose if you are not using this cluster to process something, after 10 minutes usually we will try to terminate it, because if the cluster is active you have to pay for it. It is active means you are trying to use it. So that is why if you are not using it, so we can just turn off. You might forget, right? You might log in without terminating it. Then it has to take care of itself like after 10 minutes of inactivity. So in that case we can set this 10, I mean the minimum, the limit as 10 minutes, right? So this is about all purpose cluster, or our own cluster that we can create. So after I already created this. So right now it is in a terminated mode. So I want to start it. You can start now. And how can I use it? So if you go to this workspace section, you can open any notebook. Okay. So like I have some commands are over there. So just go to connect and click on more, and you can just try to use this, attach this cluster to your notebook. We have the attach option is there, right? So here we can attach this cluster so that whenever we run any command, it will try to use this cluster memory and run it. Without attaching to a cluster, we are not able to run any single command. And by default, like you don't have any cluster. Okay, serverless cluster is available readily. Always it will try to use it. No need to create your own cluster if you are not interested. But preferably in production environments, we will try to customize our cluster settings So that is why we will create our own cluster with minimum and maximum worker nodes and auto scaling feature and also the termination minutes. So for that purpose, we will be creating our own cluster. But in the community edition, I mean the trial account through the browser, when we create it, we don't have that option here. So that is what I want to showcase here, right? Right now it is starting. So all the, I mean the environment is same, right? So here and there, some of the features are not supported. Okay, that when the time comes, other than these two, there are quite a few. So we'll discuss that also. Okay. But for now, I just want to cover this, both the ways that we can create our Databricks environment, either through browser or here. But if you want to create here in your through the Azure portal account, first you should have the Azure account in first place. You should have the Azure account, and after you having the Azure account, you have to create your resource group, and within that resource group, you have to create the Databricks environment. So that is the difference, right? And one more advantage is here you can see I can talk to data factory, I can have access to SQL database, I can have access to any storages, I can talk to different resources from here. If you create the Databricks environment through Azure portal, but the limitation is if you create the community edition, you are not able to access different resources from here. See, only Databricks environment is available, but you don't have the access to data factory like storages, everything is not there. Got it? So this is what I want to cover for today. I don't want to take too much of your time. So I request is like everybody try to create your community edition, keep it ready. Okay. And then from Monday onwards, we'll be continue with our first class, the regular classes from Monday. Okay. So any queries you can ask before we wind up.
Yeah, I have one question. Sorry, what's your name, your good name?
Ramesh.
Yeah, Ramesh, one thing. This for this Databricks, whether we need some programming skills or
Yes. So I say like you don't require like very in depth, but at
okay,
least like you kind of know the basic Python. Okay, you can brush up on that. Of
basic
course,
Python.
SQL is
Okay.
also prerequisite is basic
Because
SQL and Python.
I'm working as a ETL developer actually, Informatica IICS. So
Hmm.
I don't have any programming skills. So
Yeah,
that's the
you if you worked on Informatica, you should have know with the SQL concept. So you should brush up on the basic Python.
oh, okay, fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramesh, Safi this side.
Hmm.
Yeah, today is my first session. Unfortunately, yesterday, day before yesterday, I was not available, and
That is
today I'm just
fine.
attending. Yeah,
Hmm.
so actually, I'm just working in a Power Platform development. So as a senior
Hmm.
software engineer, so
Hmm.
my like programming skill, we are not working on the Python. We are just completely into Power Apps and Canvas and all these things and Power Automate.
Hmm.
So suppose I just because SQL I also have a good understanding.
Hmm.
But in a real time, when how I can show my experience because as senior software engineer from Power Platform and Databricks. So I'm just working on Dataverse and SharePoint also
So,
regarding in terms of data modeling and all these things. Yeah.
yeah, understood. Understood. So, what you can do, so you can show like you parallelly worked on Databricks as well as the Power Platform, okay, in one
Okay.
project. You can show like that.
Okay. Same time, like working. Okay.
Same time,
Okay.
sir.
Got
Like,
it.
see, even I worked on a project where I used the Power BI and Databricks, both.
Okay.
I got a chance to work
Okay.
on. So that is
Okay.
possible.
Yeah.
So you can showcase that.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only query from my side. And Python, you was told that don't need to depth info knowledge, like
But
only the
not
brush up and
depth,
the basic.
but you should know the basic like looping, those kind of things.
Okay. But SQL is mandatory, right? depth knowledge of the
SQL
SQL in
SQL
database.
is mandatory for anything, ETL or anything. If you are ETL person, that is a prerequisite.
Okay. And there is any need for TSQL or only SQL is enough?
Yeah, the SQL, SQL, like if you know that will be good. But if you know the basic SQL also, you don't have any constraint to learn Databricks. You can easily understand.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay, so any more questions you can
Hey
ask before
Ramesh,
we end up.
we get this side.
Uh,
Thanks for this. Would you teach anything that's like zero copy, delta share, uh, with some of the source systems like SAP, by any chance?
um, yes, so I teach like, I mean, delta share you are asking, right?
Mm-hmm. And zero copy.
So, yeah, so zero copy, I'm not sure whether it is supported, but yeah, delta share, I can discuss about that. So we have the uh, feature like Unity catalog, right? So, using that Unity catalog, we can kind of enable this Databricks share feature, I mean, the delta share feature. So we can discuss about that. Okay,
Thanks.
but I'm not sure the copy it will the zero copy that you will support. Yeah, we can discuss about that.
I have one question. So basically, in the will you be even showing how the projects can be deployed in the real time? Because I mean, will we be actually opening the UI console and then writing the notebooks, or do we have any other method to do that? Because in the real time, it's not that we'll always go to the console and do it, right?
No, we will not be using the console and anything, except in any rare cases we'll be using it, but mostly we'll be writing our transformations within the Databricks notebooks only.
Okay, I mean,
Okay.
is it like because I have worked a bit on the AWS there actually the Terraform was used. Is there something as such where
So
uh,
this
Kubernetes
those
can
are
be
like
used?
more of version controlling, right? So
Mm.
I mean, in all the projects, there is no guarantee that you will be using Terraform or DevOps or GitHub. It depends on the project, right? But
Okay.
the
Terraform
platform
actually
is
is the state and the service deployment it was being used.
right, right. So I mean, depends on project to project. It will vary. In my project, we are using Azure DevOps, and we are trying to create the repos over there and trying to check in our code. So it depends on kind of project to project. Like we can try to build the release pipelines and we can deploy our code. Okay, but the
Okay.
platform is this Databricks.
Okay. So will you be showing on real time how that can be used?
I can show you with the DevOps because I don't have access for Terraform. Definitely, I can
No, no, yeah,
show one
DevOps is
session on
fine.
the
Yeah,
DevOps.
DevOps is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, I can show on DevOps.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Uh, Ramesh, this is Anti.
yeah.
Generally, Delta Lake is the storage solution for Databricks. It will have built on top of that. Huh? So
Hmm.
here, whatever you have shown catalog, that is refers to Delta Lake or something else.
That is both actually. So we can create normal tables, same like SQL, and delta tables. The what is the specialty of the delta tables is we can
No,
also
no,
store the
not
history.
Delta tables, Delta
Hmm.
Lake storage, like AWS storage solution,
Yeah, yeah.
S3,
So
Azure uh,
yeah,
block
yeah.
storage, like Delta Lake
Right, right,
is
right.
one of the
Here,
storage, no?
yes, yes. So we can store that delta files, right? Like we can write the data into those delta files. We can store the delta files either in a database file system or in the normal storage account. But when you are querying the tables, you can also access that in a tabular format. Like you can just query that, and but the dependent data will be stored in a some storage. Okay, either in a data
Okay.
lake or storage account.
Okay. That means here the catalog refers to Delta Lake. Uh, that part I'm not clear. That's the reason I'm asking.
Right.
See,
Yes.
okay, catalog refers to Delta Lake.
Right.
Can I say like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So any more questions?
So I got one question.
Hmm.
Like before you shown like injection, that what we say that
Ingestion.
one, like injection
Ingestion
tab
pipeline.
or it,
Yeah. Here.
yeah. So injection pipeline. So if I inject any data like from some other SQL server or some other source, will
Hmm.
that be visible in catalog or like
Yes.
no?
Yes. It depends on. For suppose, depends on your destination. If you try to store your data, you're getting some external source and you want to store into your catalog. Okay, we'll be able to kind of see it. But if your source is something and destination is some SQL server or blob storage, then it will store the data respectively. It depends on all, like what is your destination. Yes, we that has capability to see the data either in catalog or in other destination as well. Yeah.
I didn't get that. Like I have an SQL server where I have a data
Hmm.
in tabular format or some format. Now I need to run my Python notebook, which I will write in Databricks.
Hmm.
So I need to bring that data. So how do I bring that data? I'll use the injection pipeline. I'll bring that data,
Right. So
or I
here,
need yeah.
two things. For suppose it's not compulsory that you have to use the ingestion pipeline. You have
Okay.
used the notebook, right? You pre-establish the connection, whether it is a kind of a to the data lake or SQL or any other source,
Yeah.
and within that notebook itself will be able to create the table or delta table. Here, if you create any table, okay, that you are able to access from the notebook itself, and then we can try to copy the data into the table within this any of the databases. That is possible. Or as I told you, so here also we have an option to create a kind of a uh,
Connection.
connection, right? For suppose if I just go here, for suppose you want to okay, connect to PostgreSQL, and so here whether it will allow or not, I'm not sure. It is asking for the sign up. Okay, on high level, okay, on high level, I'll tell you. So here,
Yeah.
PostgreSQL, right, and
Hmm.
to Databricks. Databricks means it will give some option. It will give a option to store in
Hmm.
a Databricks file system again or a catalog, the catalog section. It will give some
Okay.
option. So like that, you can store it accordingly.
Like in normal in SQL
Right.
edit like
Some any
Studio
other traditional
Studio
native.
we,
Right.
like in a like SQL Studio we can see all the tables in the
Right.
database when we connect to that. So similarly in Databricks also I can able to see
Right.
all those tables when I connect to that.
Right.
Oh.
So earlier this feature was not there. It is recently introduced.
Then in which scenario I need to use injection pipeline and all this stuff if I'm able to connect directive from here.
So in for suppose especially where I feel this is more useful is if you want to extract the data from
Yeah.
the on-premises sources, especially. Okay, the
Okay.
on-premises sources in the sense where you could not establish the connection directly through the notebook. First, you have to create the connection through
Mm.
this ingestion section, and then you can try to extract the data and transform it, something like that. So in that case, we can try to use this ingestion pipeline.
Okay.
Okay, that is where the
Like
I
you mean to
found this.
say flat file, right, Ramesh? Suppose flat
Yes,
file.
supposed to be not only flat file and any database or any source that we can try to establish the connection from here and we can use it. Not only on-prem but cloud also. Any cloud sources we can use it.
And I have one question, Ramesh. What is the how the job market, how it is for Databricks at present
Right
days?
now, for the Databricks, there is a huge scope, and we are
Okay,
getting a lot of opportunities.
okay. Because for Informatica, I have seen there are no calls at all actually.
Yeah, I know, I
So
know.
Yeah,
what is Redshift and all this stuff?
it's a cloud.
Redshift that is coming in the AWS basically. Mostly like if you are using GCP or AWS, more likely we will be using Redshift is the database only.
Okay.
Cloud
Okay.
database.
Yeah, there are so many connections, man. We know only like four to five. There are a lot of see. You don't even know
Yeah.
that. There have been a
Hmm.
lot of capability to connect to different sources. We don't even use in real time also, but they have
Because
given.
like here like when I saw some roles, especially for data engineering roles, along with like Databricks, they are asking some other database. Mostly it is not Azure SQL or Azure data. Azure, that is of course there. Other than that, there are having some other databases like AWS, Redshift. These are like most of the common one I saw.
Right, right. So now, so if you know the SQL, man, so that is not like, you can easily use them. Right? But the
And even
basic
here,
SQL,
like most of the projects, they're asking for R instead of Python.
no. Python is they mostly using. Very rarely they are asking R.
Because I got like saw some posts here. Most of them
There
are
might
R.
be, there might be
Sir,
quite a few, but mostly they are asking Python, PySpark to little Python.
okay.
But in so many interviews, I didn't even come across they are asking R. I don't know like how recently you got this post, but that is very limited. I feel.
Last week I got last week I saw
Ah,
one post like asked me like I told I know Python and SQL. They told like we are looking for R
that is
Databricks.
always been there, but
Then I told I got some
but
idea
forget
but
about
haven't
that.
done it.
Don't learn R and Python parallelly because you will get confused.
Okay.
And then I don't suggest to learn the or don't invest time on it. Okay? Very rarely you will be asked.
And one more thing, Ramesh, what about this AI spreading to all environments, right?
Yes, yes, that
So,
is the next step, man. First, we have to clear with the data bricks and all. Yeah, so after you are comfortable, after you work on 1 or 2 years, definitely you have to step in into AI.
okay, okay,
So
That is a
in this
learning curve
data
always been there.
okay.
here this genie, what is this genie, this one copilot kind of thing or it's something else?
It might be. I've also not might much used. Yes, it might be kind of that capability. So nowadays, AI also kind of playing bigger role. as we know, right? Um, everywhere, like we have to import our OpenAI models and try to use it. For that also, most of the times we are handling those within the Databricks environment only, because so we can write Python code very heavily within the Databricks notebooks also whenever you require. So Databricks is the key. That is a game changer. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, so we'll end here, and then we'll connect back on Monday. Okay,
Okay, thank you, Ramesh.
thank you.
Yeah. Have a nice day, Ramesh. Bye.